Hey everyone, Mark and Joey here on a Monday morning, glorious day here in Ontario, Canada. And in case you are new to the show, Ontario, Canada is where we live, and enjoying fantastically hot weather, much like Wimbledon, which we're going to talk about as well. And but first of all, I want to tell you that the show is expanding like crazy. We're not going to do a whole commercial on it like we've done for the last little while, but go to, we've updated the website as well, ultimatesportschannel.com. And there, not only do we show you where you can watch us, but we also give you the day's news now as well. In all sports, not just a specific sport. You go there, wide variety of sports, which is what we talk about as well. And you can see that. So hop over there. We are in video and audio, so you can now watch us live, or you can watch us, you can listen to us, download it so you can listen on your way to work, or on your way home, wherever you happen to listen to the radio. There's an opportunity to do that as well. So anyway, let's get into what was an exhausting day. I mean, I don't know how they do it, but as a fan, I was exhausted.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, 5 hours worth of tennis, tension at every point and every serve. Just remarkable. Unfortunately, they got all excited about it, but it ended in a tie break, which I wasn't real thrilled about because it hadn't gone into tie break because it was the first time they ever implemented the rule. So
at 12 games
yeah.
each. Not
I guess it's about time because that could have gone 20-20.
Yeah.
So very exciting tennis. So you couldn't ask for anything better. The two best in the world right now, and arguably the two best Wimbledon players. So it was really awesome. You had Federer with a chance at 40-15. You just needed one more serve to close it out. Djokovic fought back with 2 break points, including to take the ads and then go on to win that point to tie it up. And then the tiebreak, unfortunately, Federer couldn't have it all day on the tiebreaks. 0 for 3 in the tiebreaks. Yeah. Really, obviously, the deciding point of this match. A little unfortunate that way. I think that comes down to maybe the youth of Djokovic in 1 point, where it's not first one to 40. It's just 1 point, 1 point, 1 point. It's a little bit more difficult on Federer to win those because he's better with more time. So very exciting though. At the end of the day, Djokovic won, got him within 4 of Federer's record of the most majors ever. The big three continues their dominance, and Federer at 37 years old proving that he's still got plenty left in his legs, and it'll be interesting to see if he can win a couple more before he's done.
Well, the really scary part about tennis, of course, is that the top players fall off in performance quickly sometimes. We were looking the other day that, no one's played tennis at this level over 40.
Yeah.
He is running out of time quickly, even though he's a marvel of fitness and everything else. It's just purely if time runs out on you. There's no doubt Djokovic is the best player in the world. It has been. I think it was the last 3 or 4 majors he's beat Federer in. So this was a game for the ages, but not a shock that Djokovic won. We do think a little bit in there. He used the second and fourth sets to rest.
Yeah.
Interesting. Most people, no, he's never going to give it up. But in both those sets, when he got down a break, he basically at that point let the set almost get away quickly. 6-1, 6-3 or 4, I think, in the other one. And that was probably smart because when they got down to the end, he was able to withstand again in the tiebreaker at 12-12 and win that. But it could have gone either way at any time. There was, Federer served for the match twice. He also got a break back in the tiebreaker and actually got back on serve again before, losing out 3 or 4 points in a row. And he is just amazing. That guy sat down between games. It didn't look like he was breathing hard at all.
I mean, he looked in better shape than Djokovic, to be honest. Djokovic looked really insane. I think he might have been hurt a little bit too in that second set, but I definitely thought once he got broken a couple times, he really took it off. And same with the other set. I think he really just chilled when it came down to it. But he did win, obviously, a couple points, I think, to extend Roger Federer, make him work a little bit harder. But ultimately, I mean, it was a great match, and Federer played, I think, the best tennis he could have asked for, really, when it came down to it.
Yeah.
And still lost, unfortunately. Djokovic at 5 years is a big deal. 6 years, really, because he turns 38 in like a week.
Yeah.
So 6 years on Federer is a huge, huge advantage. And he's just obviously one of the best there is.
And will be the best there ever has been.
We believe he'll break the major record. I don't think he'll break the overall title record of Federer at 102.
They just don't play enough anymore to do that, yeah.
Well, they easily play equal amounts of what he does. I think Federer, though, I think Djokovic is more the Brooks Koepka of tennis versus Federer is the Tiger Woods. I mean, every time they step on the court, they want to win. They don't care what tournament it is. Djokovic feels like, to me, even though he plays the same amount of events as Federer, does focus on the majors, maybe puts that little extra effort they need to. Also, I think because in tennis, what you may not know is they only do 3 sets in regular tournaments and they do 5 sets in majors. Gives Djokovic a huge advantage and gives Federer a little bit of advantage in regular tournaments because in 3 sets, obviously at 37 years old, you can hold up a little bit better that way. So, yeah, no, it's disappointing to see. I hope Federer can win a couple more before the day's done. Hopefully, maybe he can get to some finals without Djokovic in him. Djokovic just dominating in the 5-setters in the finals. You know, if Federer ever gets to a finals without Djokovic there, I think it's a lock for him. He's clearly that good that he can still be. I mean, he had to beat Nadal. He had to beat Nishikara from Japan.
Unbelievable tournament.
Someone said he had to beat 4 players inside the top 30 of the world to even get there. Djokovic didn't play one of them. So, you know, very different roads as well. So, yeah, hopefully we see Federer get a couple more. I think it's going to be with Djokovic losing the semis to someone else. But, you know, still lots of time left, and he's going to add to his legacy, as will Djokovic. I will say, credit Djokovic, because the crowd wasn't really on his side. He was overall pretty good about his attitude.
Oh, I thought it was very classy, actually.
He normally gets a little pissy about that stuff, but he does understand who he's playing against. Where you know, Roger Federer is literally the Tiger Woods of golf. When you really want to look at the purses going up, he created that. You know, the fame, he created that. Kind of brought tennis to a position where regular folks now watch it because of Roger Federer. So I think he handled the fact that the crowd really cheered when Roger made a point. He held it together and handled it really well.
I thought Djokovic really handled it class. I mean, we saw him in earlier matches against much inferior opponents.
Yeah.
It was still on the referee during the whole game. I mean, when he was playing, I forget which match it was, maybe the semi, he's always on the umpire, quiet during the point. Quiet during the point. Like, why do you need to quiet during the point? I mean, the balls would just smash back and forth. But I found here, I was really impressed. I thought he lived up to the class of Federer. I think he wanted to make the game that classy because of it. He knew he was playing, you know, a guy who will be remembered as one of the greats. I think Djokovic is going to be known as the greatest. I think he's going to smash all of Federer major records.
Not the winner.
But the class he had, I really felt in this match, he held it together that way. I really do. He came to the umpire only once, right at the near end of the game over one call, and that was it. And didn't make a big deal of it.
And that was about, I think it was about what the original call was. Right. The challenge was all weird. They both actually challenged it because they didn't really know the call.
Yeah.
But there was noise during points he didn't complain about because anytime a ball maybe got too high, the fans thought it was a miss. And when it hit the net. So, handled it really well. I wouldn't call him the greatest of all time yet. I mean, obviously, you got a lot of work to do with injuries in life. You never know where that might take you. I mean, he's kind of, though, the Tiger Woods. He's so close. It seems like a no-brainer. But look what happened to Tiger Woods in golf. You know, LeBron James in basketball. It just depends where you end up. So I'm not going to declare him that yet. I'd certainly say, though, you have to look at the fact that he probably is the best major player. Obviously, there is. He's big. I mean, I don't count Nadal simply because he wins on clay all the time.
Yeah.
But they all got their thing. I mean, you can easily have Nadal as the greatest clay. Djokovic is the greatest major, and then ultimately Roger is the greatest overall. He has 102 victories. Yeah. No one's even close to that. So, you know, they all got their thing. They all got their niche. You know, at the end of the day, we know Djokovic's goals, which is the majors. But I think what makes Roger the greatest is that even someone like Djokovic, who is this close, is so in awe of Roger Federer still at 37 years old. That always tells me that you're a little bit more than just a great tennis player. You must be a great guy.
Oh, without a doubt.
You must be a great advertisement. He has 2 sets of twins. And these guys just idolize him and still look up to him. And even Djokovic said, because Federer said, I hope I inspire people that 37. And Djokovic said, that's me. I'm inspired. And that's the guy you just played against in a heated 5-setter match. Do or die, you know, tons of sweat and you know, all this hard work. So, you know, everyone's got their thing. Congratulations to Djokovic. I think he was a very good winner, classy winner. Obviously, has been the best player since the Big Three has really come together because he added to the Big Three. He's crushed both of them in theory of when he's come along.
Paris,
other than the French Open, of course. But as far as these other events go, since he's come in now, 6 years on Federer, so it's a big deal in tennis, but still, since he's come in, way more majors than the other 2 guys. Yeah. So very impressive stuff. And wrapped up a good Wimbledon. Unfortunately, 2 greats, 2 legends get to the finals in the women's and the men's. Neither one could pull it out. At least in the men's, it went to Djokovic, who's another great, obviously top 3 all-time already. And, you know, Serena lost to Simone Halep, who was more of a good field story. World number 1 had never won on the grass, so that was good too. But great week at tennis. You couldn't ask for better finals. And yesterday capped it off. Even the commentators, John McEnroe and his brother, were truly almost emotional about how
Yeah.
special that match felt to them.
Well, there's no doubt about it. And here's an interesting thing about the majors with tennis, and I didn't know this, but McEnroe was talking about it, John, and they didn't really in his day worry about the major record like they
Well, he
do.
didn't go to the Australian Open.
He only went 5 times out of 15. I
Someone
forget who else
went 3.
he said. Like
Yeah.
Connors went once only.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't the same emphasis there was in golf. It was kind of Tiger's run that got tennis interested in the Grand Slams. So the records like Pete Sampras at 14 and below that, those could have been much higher, but they never went to the Australian Open in his
Well, I think
era.
Federer was the first one to go to the Australian Open. He came
on
in
a regular
kind of at a time where obviously travel was a lot easier.
Yeah.
And then majors came important, and it just became available to the players and to the tour. Really, I think that's what it comes down to. Same with golf and the travel that golf now takes.
Well, Australia Open is something entirely different because the travel is 24 hours. In golf, we've got 3 in the States, and you only go over to Britain once. 5
No,
hours
but I'm talking about like all athletes kind of go everywhere now. You'll see a match in China. You'll see
right.
This
But
and
to
that.
have a major there a long time
I have a major
ago,
there is a shock, obviously.
much tougher to fly in those days.
Right, exactly. And really, when Roger came into it was at the time of, like I said, travel was a lot easier, but I think he came in of the goals of just, being the greatest, so he just thought it's there for the taking.
But there's
and
these 3. There's these 3 in this pack that have won way more than guys did in the past. And that's what McEnroe was trying to explain is,
right, of course.
Can you say that certain guys wouldn't have made it if they'd gone to the Australia Open more because Federer has won a lot of Australia Opens, and so is Djokovic, right? So their records are actually, I think it's almost getting down to, and maybe there would be a way of looking at just the 3. It would be interesting.
Well, then
we'd have to go back. Who's won other than Australia?
Nadal would have the most. I mean, he only has 1 Australian Open. He has 18 majors, 1 Australian Open, so he had 17. So he would clearly have the most. Now, I think Federer has 5, and Djokovic has 5.
Yeah.
Now, guys don't go to the French Open anymore. So what does that mean? Because guys don't go. Federer hadn't gone for 6 years until this year because he knows he can't win it.
Yeah.
And same with Djokovic. Djokovic barely goes now. Now he's gone a couple of times recently, and he's gotten to the finals against Federer, but he still can't win. Even Dominic Thiem, you might not know the name, is actually the second best clay guy. Knocks these guys out just from the court. So Djokovic doesn't go to the French. Federer doesn't go to the French. These guys didn't go to the Australian Open.
That's the real
difference. It's all tough in tennis because of different courts. In golf, you play on grass, and you play different courts, but you play on grass. And at the end of the day, obviously, there's styles to each one, but it's less of an advantage than this. Totally. This is a clear advantage on clay versus grass and versus hard court. Australia Open has become popular because it's hard court like the U.S. Open. It's very early in the year. Actually, no one really pays attention to it.
And it's also big grass. So.
I don't even remember it being on TV. Djokovic won it. I didn't even remember.
But it's an interesting discussion amongst tennis compared to golf. Golf has been 3 in the States and 1 in Britain.
Yeah.
Easy to get to. Everybody's played it in modern times, let's say. Tennis doesn't have that same thing. You got some of the best players not even playing some of the events that are in the Grand Slam. I mean, it just doesn't. It makes it harder to count those numbers.
Right, and
that's all.
It comes down to these days too is people being able to narrow their focus because of money. So now that there's more money at each level of tennis, at each type of tennis, that you could develop yourself as a clay court specialist. You could easily go to a coach, and a coach can find out at 14 years old what you play best on and go, you're a hard court guy. You're a clay court. You're a grass court.
Nadal's obviously done that.
Right. So unfortunately, tennis has evolved to the point that you can be a specialist at something, obviously be a fantastic tennis player, because still he's won 12 in a row, which is, I don't care how good you are on a surface.
Still insane,
It's insane, but you can now develop your games to be that. So unfortunately, tennis will always kind of have that. I think the one thing they're gifted by is these 3 have been able to maintain themselves through all these years at every major, because even Federer was able to make the semifinals at the French Open. And at the end of the day, it's provided great entertainment for all these years and really has elevated tennis to a level that I think is shocking for most people, that it's really special to everybody, to older people, younger people. I think, you got regular people just turning on at the finals to watch Federer and Djokovic yesterday. I know we don't normally watch it, but because of them, we did. So, it's just, they've been able, these 3 have been so impactful, it's hard to believe that they'll eventually be done.
It's astonishing that 3 guys in their 30s, where typically in sport young guys come up and start to take over, that they've won the last 11 majors between them. Like, it's astounding that they are keeping the game going, and no one's getting close to them. That's the amazing. We talked about it in our Friday show. about that, and there's no young players getting close to these guys.
No,
it's amazing.
There's young players popping up and kind of giving runs, and there might be one or two players to eventually do
to
it.
get to the semis, but
you know, man, there's not much there right now, and maybe they're just dominant at their ages, and we talked about it in a different show, so check it out, about how the older players have actually benefited from technology and fitness, and actually the purse money. People say that's why the young kids don't have to try so hard. Well, also that's why the older players can now play way less events, I think, and really prepare for these majors. So where everything it's benefited young players, it's benefited older players, and I think it's kind of come down to work ethic and talent, and arguably these guys simply just have the best talent along with probably the top work ethic. And, you know, there'll be a change of the guard someday. You know, there's a lot of 18-year-olds right now. We're talking really young. Like, that's what a lot of people have said. You know, you want the next young person. Well, it's still normally 20, 22 in tennis. These guys are a lot of 18-year-old right now that by the time of 2022, you never know. And, you know, you never know, maybe, you know, Felix, the Canadian there. Yeah. There was the Frenchman he lost to that was only 20 years old, Hubert, I believe. You never know when they might click, but right now it's still the big three, and I'm sure tennis isn't complaining. What's great for them is Roger Federer has been able to kind of connect with the youth and the older groups. It's amazing how many young tennis players still say he's their favorite, not Nadal, not Djokovic. So they're lucky to have a star that's been able to do that, for sure, along with the great play.
Without a doubt. And we've got a couple of rule things. We actually did a show which was in the very beginnings on NFL rules and what we thought should be changed. We're actually going to do a series of shows on rules and changes that could happen in sports, to our mind. Obviously, lots of people love the way it is, but it'll be interesting debate and discussion anyway. So we're going to wrap this up now, but we are going to talk about tennis as part of one of our rules show. And it was just an amazing match. I mean, it was just my heart was pumping watching it. I can't imagine what it was like to play in that.
Probably, I've never played a level of that, but playing tournaments, it's easier to be playing, trust me, than watching.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't have any control.
Federer's wife was...
Oh my God.
I don't know if she's the camera on her.
I don't know if she's going to have any nails left.
Yeah, they could have kept the camera on her. So anyway, it was fantastic. Unbelievable for tennis, obviously. We're glad we got into it.
You know kids are kids, because his son was just like, it's too loud at that. So kids are kids, and at the end of the day, he's dead. So, but it was really cool to see. Congratulations to Djokovic and Halep for winning.
Yeah, awesome. And like I said, we're going to do a show on rules, and hopefully you can take that in as well.